Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Chase. So today we're going to look at Bitcoin. We'll see what else I'm interested in looking at. I really broke down the Bitcoin chart lately and wanted to share with you guys my current thoughts. So we're going to define two key levels. We're going to use the most recent level, and then we're going to use the past history to sort of provide confluence to them. So this is the origin of the breakdown, right? So we can see this is where the breakdown began. It comes up, it finds resistance again. See, it breaks down from here, comes up, finds a little resistance here, and then plows through. Okay, if we take this box and we drag it to the left, we can see tons of confluence around this level. Support, 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 support. This was major support during the bull run. When we flipped into the bear market, this became resistance, and it's been resistance up until recently. Now, what is on the other side of that level? In my opinion, we have a bit of a range going on here, and I view it something like this. This is a level I could mark out. It's just clean. Look, so resistance, resistance, resistance is here. Yeah, resistance is here, flips to support, serves as resistance here, and then origin of breakdown. Okay, and if I just go with the box again, can take from the weekly time frame here, where price broke down from. This consolidation, right? Pull it left, and we can see the confluence now here as well. We can see resistances. We just talked about this, right? Support here, origin of breakdown. So what I am thinking here, and I'm still in my short from 38.4K. Let's say what I think, and then we'll go through potential scenarios that I'm okay with. I see this eventually retracing to here, around 30.7K, 30.8K. That will be my level of interest for buying. Okay, we can see the major confluence of support here. We can see the resistance here, origin of breakdown, perfect resistance here, and this is really the big thing, is that before we powered through here, we found resistance here. Okay, so this resistance, we're looking for that to flip to support when we come back down. So 30.7, 30.8K, that's my level of interest to buy. I sort of came to this because I feel like this is a bit of an area of chopping and ranging to a degree. Outside of when we saw the quick move through here, even though you did see a bounce, but most of the time it seems when you're in here, you get locked up in here for a bit. Okay, we saw it in here. Price got locked up in here for a bit, right? So it's locked up, it's locked up, it's locked up. You know, it pops out a little bit, but overall, once it digs into here, it mostly stays in here for a bit. Now, I do think we end up seeing the same type of thing in here. While this could, push to the top of the box, that's 40.5, 41K. I think that's possible. I do think that whatever happens in here, ultimately, even if it goes a little bit higher, I think ultimately we'll be working within this box for a bit, or this area. Okay, just like these previous times. So that's my current thought process with the levels mapped out from support and resistance on both sides, and how I think we could be working, pretty much within there. In terms of what to look for, I'm personally just short off the monthly level, and I plan to leave it open. Okay, it was really that simple. I just took these two monthly bodies here, saw this monthly support here, and saw the candle, push through here, acceptance, find resistance here, and that is where the origin of the down move began. That's how I came to this level initially. When we initially tagged 30.4 or 38.4 the first time, I hit it to the pip pretty much. Now, unfortunately, my 34 I think my take profit was like 34,000 flat, like right around there. It was into the weekly gap. I had talked to you about this, so it was just right below here. Yeah, right around 34,000. That was my take profit. Got front run on it slightly by about $300, $400. Price bounced immediately. It was only offered down there for a second or two. Looking at this price action, it's tough for me to think that this all gets wiped out immediately. I do pretty much high confidence that it does get wiped out sooner, not sooner than later, but eventually. Trying to figure out how I want to explain this. It's this grinding higher price action, and we are coming to a make or break here, in my opinion. And we'll get into the trading psychology of it too. Is that even though my gut is sort of saying that this is going to have a big candle soon, I've thought that before, and I've taken my gut over my analysis, and I think when they disagree, it really depends what time frame you're looking at. Basically, what I'm getting to is that this is a monthly level, and I think a lot of the market is looking at that, and a lot of the market is obviously defending it. So for me to think that I have some type of magic touch or magic thought process that, oh yeah, we're just going to plow through the monthly level, it's sort of what I think. Like, I think it's going to look like this and whatever else, and maybe one more, and then we finally come down, do something of that nature. But it could just reject and start forming, bearish structure. It's totally possible, right? Maybe we don't get that 30 yet. Maybe it looks like this, taking out like some of these lows, and then it does that, and then it comes down to it. That is a possibility. And I would probably stick with my original take profit for at least 60 or 70% of my position and lock in some of that if it did come down. So the point I'm trying to make is just, you can feel something. There's been many times I felt something, like I thought for sure that F was going to break out at a certain point on the daily. I'll show that to you. It was here. When F had reclaimed all this area, I said, wow, look at this daily close. I was certain that it was going to go. And look, it retraced and it took out all these lows. You can see there, it basically took out all the previous lows from the buildup. I had thought that this daily close was the signal for it to rip. Instead, it still took another 8 days, more than a week, for it to move. Okay, so while you can have a strong feeling of something, you still do have to respect the technicals and what is potentially happening. So I'm sticking with my short. I'm not concerned if it goes 2 or 3 or 4,000, past me. It's not a big deal. It's still going to be, a 1-to-1 or a 1.2, 1.4 risk reward trade, depending how it moves. But yeah, I guess I just wanted to give you guys the thought process and the breakdown of Bitcoin that I've been doing, and why I think that this is sort of like the magnet area, sort of the lockup, I call it, the range, the lockup. And I think that'll be something that occurs in here too, no matter what it does, blah, blah, blah. But before we make a major decision about either like sweeping lows or going higher, like up into these, liquidity areas up in here where stops could be resting above these highs, I do think that we work the range a bit before making that move. And that is why I will be staying in my short. Okay. Let's see. We can look at ETH real quick, and then we can look at something else. We shall see. Ethereum. I mean, that's how I'm seeing it at the moment. Support. We already know that it's not following Bitcoin's path. Whether it's lagging or not, I can't say for certain. I think something major would have to change, such as the Bitcoin ETF being approved, BTC retracing, which would ultimately lead to ETH retracing, but then the ETH ETF is the next quote-unquote narrative, and that is where we could find the move on ETH perhaps. But I'm personally not seeing the move on ETH immediately, filling in this void or anything of that nature just yet. It's simply not following the same path that Bitcoin followed, right? Like Bitcoin already fully filled this. Bitcoin is up here. On Ethereum, Bitcoin is up here. So still a far ways from that. I wouldn't be surprised if there is an eventual fake out, just how potentially Bitcoin could move into the 40s. And that would be sort of your trap, your bull trap there, and maybe back down to, sort of like this weekly support area, if not even potentially taking some liquidity levels. That's a bit extreme for now, right? More or less, let's stay around here, 17s. But, never rule it out. It's just, my thought process is to, we do have to keep an eye on these lows depending on what we see with Bitcoin. What would the percentage, let's see what the percentage would be. So that's a 33% drop. So that's a pretty strong drop, probably unlikely. Let's look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin from here to here is only a roughly 20% drop. So let's look at a 20% drop. And 20% drop, or 18, I think Bitcoin was 18, would put it right at this sort of monthly or this weekly support that I talked about here. So that's more likely. Let's not worry about the lows for now. We can worry about that at a future time if this support level looks like it's not holding. Okay. Is there anything else? I think that's mostly it. As far as everything goes, I'll be staying in the Bitcoin short unless something, unless it just completely gets ripped through, then maybe I'll try to play an SR flip off of, say, like, if it got completely ripped through, I'd try to close around break even on an SR flip or something. I presume there'd be some point to get out. But like I said, I'm okay with it pushing 40s. And I do think that this gets filled eventually. We don't have to fill this, and we don't have to sweep these lows. I'm not calling for any of that just yet. But I do think that, these levels that I have here are pretty sound, and I'd be interested in, saving a part of my short for 30.8K and buying 30.8K. Outside of that, I would say, keep your mental strong, have a plan. There's a lot of euphoria and doom every day depending on the most recent 4-hour candle. We talk about this stuff all the time. Make sure you have a plan. If the money is meaningful, whether it's Bitcoin or an altcoin or anything, take some profit, withdraw it to the bank, make the money count. This is the same, spiel that I was giving up here and the same shit that I was saying up here. I was telling week by week, I'm saying, look guys, I'm selling a little more here. I'm selling a little more here. Bringing some of that profit to the bank. You gotta, especially if you're growing, you have to make it meaningful. Because if you're long from down here or something, and you haven't taken any profit yet, and this rejects and it comes down here, how are you going to feel when you lose 60-70% of your profit? And if it doesn't bounce, and you're back towards break even, trust me, and you just gave up a ton of money that could have made a big difference in, I don't know, your house, your car payment, whatever you want to say. Maybe it's just a couple months of rent or a couple trips to the grocery store. Whatever it is, it doesn't matter where you're at in your career. What matters is that you're appreciating the moves. Just because you're not trading to huge size doesn't mean you don't appreciate this move. If you have, let's say you have $6,000 worth of profit here, and what you need to pay off your car is $10K, so you're holding to 45K or something. That's not how you do it. That's not how you trade. You take profit when either your plan says so, or when it's technically appropriate to. Obviously it all depends on where you were looking to TP. But my point is, if you originally had a TP somewhere in here, if your TP was in here, if your TP was here, and now all of a sudden you're moving your TP to here and here, hey, maybe you'll get lucky. I've seen people get lucky. Maybe you'll plow through. Maybe you'll get lucky. But on a long-term, journey, career, or whatever you want to say, doing shit like that, you will not build in a significant fashion. You'll do a lot of round trips. You'll do a lot of stop outs. You'll continue to get more and more greedy. Take profit when you're supposed to. Bring some of that money to the bank. Be grateful and appreciative of what the market has given you, and pat yourself on the back if you have performed well. I think that's about it. And I will talk to you guys in a week or so. I have some stuff going on, a little busier than usual, just some family stuff, so that's not for a couple days, being completely honest. But point being, I'm going to relax a bit, and then I got some family stuff to take care of. And that should be it. Should be back in a week or so. I'll probably still be posting and whatnot when I can. But just in case I'm not as active as usual, nothing's wrong or anything. I'm just, chilling a little bit while this continues to test the monthly resistance, and we will see what happens. Alright guys, that's it. I'll talk to you soon. Peace out. Have a good one.